Guys on Facebook Live, you would not believe what we have been through this morning to bring this to you. This is so bad. So, new technology, learning how to use Restream, didn't use it through Zoom. Shannon and I have spent an hour and a half trying to get tech things up this morning. So, welcome, Shannon.
It's because we love you. We were so committed.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Cause I'm certainly not, I've like cussed and thrown things and hated life this morning. But that's what happens when you do this. So we are here to talk about 6 essentials to your press kit to attract limitless publicity. And you have an up and coming event next month, but let's talk about those 6 things that you're going to talk about at this event that will help people get themselves more publicity.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Juliet. So with the press kit, being ready is key. And we love to focus on these essentials. The first one is your expert power bio. This is that story about you that makes you stand out, that is in a way that lets people know who you are and what you've been up to and some of your successes, maybe who you rub elbows with and play with, and also some personal things about you that they can connect with. This expert power bio is essential, I think, in business to really help you attract new clients, speaking gigs, and free publicity. The next thing is your press release, and your press release is that tool that we use to get out into the media and get you picked up and get you noticed. What I love about the press release is they are they're what we use to tell that story. They're what we use to quote you as an expert. This is where we talk about the news and what you're up to. And so we've had great success at getting people picked up by hundreds of mediums. And so that's the next piece. Third thing is action photos. So action photos and images are really essential. We want people to connect with you, connect with your face. The funny story is, Juliet, the first time I learned about photos, now sometimes if you're working with a book, it could be a book with your photo. But in this, I sent in, they said, hey, do you have a photo? And I sent in my headshot, Juliet, and they didn't print it. And I'm thinking, what am I, ugly? Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, what's wrong here? But what I realized as I started studying this more and more is that they like seeing things in action. The next one, it was me just standing next to my customer, looking at a brochure, pointing at the brochure and us looking down. They gave us, the photo was quarter page. The article was a quarter page. So those action photos are really essential with that. The other thing is your order form. Like a lot of people want to know, what are you selling? What are you marketing? What are you up to? And so that's the best way for them to really assess what it is that you're doing. Press kit, a lot of times when you're working to get booked on stages or radio shows, those are more, they want to know what you're up to, and that's what you would use for that. The other piece is things written about you, articles, other media, if you've been in podcasts, if you've been on TV, if you have a speaker reel, any of those things to really showcase what you've done is important for them to know and to establish, hey, this is an expert and this is somebody that I would want to work with to know more. The other thing is marketing material. In your press kit, you need to be ready with a business card. If you have company brochures, Juliet, you have an incredible magazine, that Breakthrough Authors magazine. What a great way to really showcase to people what you've done. So any marketing material that you might have your company is another piece to put in your press release, press kit.
Yeah, very nice.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is a mouthful. So I have some questions because I'm sure people are going to be inquiring, and I know we're going to get into this a lot more depth. The event is April 6th, and you'll be able to tell them where to sign up, and it's free. It's free. The last one she did was super valuable. There were, like 40 people there. It was pretty good. So people are probably wondering about the press releases, and this is what one of my clients said to me before she ended up buying it. She said, I can go over to Fiverr and get one done. And so the difference here, you guys, is Fiverr, I said, did you get a report? Do you know who picked it up? Do you know how many outlets it went out to? Do you know? She knew nothing. And then when she showed me a copy of it, you could tell it had been written by somebody who English wasn't their first language. So let's talk about that a little bit, about the first part, well-written storytelling.
Yeah.
For us authors, what you and I do together, it connects the book to the business as well.
Mhm. Yes, and so that's what's really powerful with the press release is really understanding the journey that you want the customers to go on. Is it a free opt-in? Is it, is there something else to tie the customers to you? So I love Juliet, and we work on this together, which is wonderful. I love getting to know what are those significant things that they've done so that we can highlight those. A lot of times people, when they're writing the press release, they're really focused on the story, which is important. But there's things in their past that we might be able to name drop, or there may be awards that they've done, or places they've been featured, or successes. So we love to talk about those that are there. I know working with you, Juliet, and making people a best-selling author, we love putting in, best-selling author or number one and things like that. So when you work with a professional that loves to tell the stories, we take time to interview you and we do research. We really look at all the different pieces of what you have, and sometimes we find things that you might forget. And so telling that story completely is great. And another thing, Juliet, that I've seen about Fiverr and other people is like you've noticed, we try to maximize how much we can get in there, right? We're going to get every last word in there that we can. And some of them are really short. They don't write a headline that's going to get picked up. That headline is essential. That's a big deal. And then also, as you mentioned, that report, we give you a full report. And I know, Juliet, we did one with you and it was like 64 pages of, 15 different outlets all around the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. But I think that the biggest thing in there too is not just that storytelling between you and I ferreting out the information. I have to be honest with a lot of authors. You guys are not braggy people, and that's okay. But we have to drag details out of you that you're like, oh, well, I never thought that was important. But it might be really important to your book or to your readers. An example was one of our authors used to work for some very large companies, and it really enhanced her background, but she didn't brag about it. She just kind of talked about, oh, I was in marketing and this is where I got today. And it was like, well, whoa, girl, those places you worked were really
Big
significant
names. Yeah.
names where you should have been dropping names. So that can be really important too. Let's talk about that dashboard. When we talk about, oh, you can go over to Fiverr, people don't know this particular, and it was Pam, who picked up. I was like, who picked it up? And when she went through us again and we rewrote it, it was, ABC and NBC and CBS, and we could prove we had the links to the articles. We had everything we needed for her to really be able to promote her authority. So it is much different. And you guys guarantee at least 400 pickups.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
You guys, I have to tell you, almost all of our authors have gotten, I think, over 550.
Yes. Yes.
It kind of varies between 550 and 600. Okay. So that was the first piece. The second piece, having this press kit on your website and all of these other articles. So everybody's around with podcasts lately, but they don't consider, putting somebody else's link on their site. I mean, do you have to get permission? Is it fair game? How many should you use? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think that if you've been on the show, they want you to market it. Juliet, you're a successful podcast host, and you want us to put it on our website. So absolutely, adding it to your website does two things. One thing is people get to hear you, get to know you, and showcase you. But that cross reference of the links, it's like this natural SEO, because first off, Juliet, you have the link of us to our site, and we have it back to you, and so there's this organic SEO that really helps your site when you have those other links. I think that if you're doing that, as far as your prior experience, you want to put the significant and the ones that will stand out the most at the top. And I've seen people have 40 or 50 things on their
Yeah.
website. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's, you want it to look nice. You want it to be appealing to the eye and easy to use, but I think it's absolutely beneficial to be able to include that. So that's the prior media. But as far as the press release, if you're doing something about your book, you may want to have a one pager about the book. You want to have the press release up there. You want to have that stuff accessible for them to be able to click on and download if they want to be able to use it. If you're a speaker, a lot of people put their speaker sheets up there. So having that in a media kit makes it easier for you, right? So people can access it, but then it opens people's eyes up to the other things that you're up to when they're on your site.
There is. And if you guys want a great example of somebody who just promotes the heck out of all of the podcasts, back in, I want to say 2020, I coached with Scott Carson, and his site is weclosenotes.com. His whole media page is all of the podcasts he's been on, and he has the cover of the podcast linked to the actual audio of the podcast. So that's huge. And if you see how many he's been on, I know that year that I think he was on like 120 and I was on almost 100. It's a lot of work, but you go over there and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody wants this guy, and you can get a snippet. That's the best part, is they can get a snippet and find out what kind of guest you are. Obviously with Scott's, he's a great guest. He's been on a lot, but Shannon, you're a podcast host now. People will come to you and say, I want to be on your podcast, and they won't have a speaker sheet. They won't have a media kit. And then if they don't, or sometimes even if they do, I'll interview them in advance and I'll reject them because they're just wishy-washy, guests. So, all of that's really important to get on your site so that people understand and they don't have to take that extra step and then reject you. That was really negative. Sorry, but
No, it's okay. And you brought up something that really aligns with the press release. It's like when you get on a podcast, you don't want to be all selling. Like you want to be sharing and giving good content and information. That's what I love, Juliet, about your show, is that it's like stuff that people can leave with today and take home and implement and learn from.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing. I mean, this is a great point. Our friend Jackie Jordan, who I believe is going to be at your event as well, does TV promo. And you literally have a 2-minute segment. And that's what she talks about, is you can't sell. You cannot sell. You're there to be the expert. And, the host may allow you to, give a little bit of information at the end and maybe a free giveaway, but you're there to impart your wisdom, not sell. And that can be really, really, really annoying. So tell us about, I don't want to make this too long here because I know people are super busy. How do we get to your event on April 6th? You guys, it's free. The last one was amazing. A lot of people on it, a lot of great content, and it's actually leading up to her Media Magic event that is in April. So tell us first about the April 6th. And if you can't make the April 6th, go check out her event and she'll tell you a little bit about that.
Perfect. Yes. If you go to shannonprocise.com/events, you'll be able to see all of our events. And there's a top icon right there that says the 6 essentials to media magic, or to creating your press kit. What's really powerful about this free webinar, you'll be able to register, is you can get a replay if you can't make it. But if you're there, we actually do a high performance networking activity and we work on that pitch. So we do it towards the end because some people are a little nervous about talking and meeting other people, but this is a powerful opportunity for you to meet people from all around the world. Also get direct feedback on things that you can do to improve your pitch and leave there right away with even potential customers. So all of our events, we love to do that. We love to build community and really help people leave there with some rock solid tools. The Media Magic event, I'm so excited, Juliet, that you've given us time to be there in a interview where I'm going to be talking about your, I know you, I hope it's okay I'm doing this, but we're going to be talking about the publishing world. Those of you that don't know you, Juliet, you've got your thumb on what's going on, all the way from increases in paper and supply chain and everything that's happening all that you've seen so many different contracts from people upset saying this doesn't work. So I want people to hear about that. We're really focused on sales and marketing, and people, this is not a normal event. This is a business accelerator. You are going to be there working on and completing your bio, working on and completing your press kit and your press release. And then the second day, we actually have a media panel. And so this is a great opportunity to hear directly from them how to pitch them, what they're looking for, and even get some of your story out to them directly. So you'll also find that information on shannonprocise.com/events.
The media panel, really quick. Tracy Hazard owns Procise, the largest post-production podcast company in the world. We are trying desperately to get our friend Jackie Jordan. She said yes, but we haven't seen her yet. Jackie's actually on Newsmax and is TV guestpert. So she actually trains you to be on TV. It's not as easy as it looks, you guys. In fact, it's kind of hard. It's not like opening up this and going. It's hard. And then you have someone, Bert's wife.
Yeah, Alexa Oliva, who she actually worked with HBO and some major networks as their branding. She does videos and really she's done videos for people who have been picked up on national networks. So she's really familiar with that space. And then we have Tony Lotus from Australia, and so she has a global TV and radio network also. So you're going to hear from some remarkable people, and I'm so excited about Jackie to have somebody that's every day on well, not every day, but she's a regular guest on a major network is a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too, you guys. Jackie is absolutely gorgeous, you guys. But when she's on with me and Shannon, like when we do meetings, like no makeup, like she looks just like we do all the time. But it's actually funny because when you see her on Newsmax, I actually ask her, I'm like, do you have somebody come and make up you before that? Because they're still doing it from their home, I think. And she was like, oh, absolutely, there's a professional that comes and because I was like, how do you do makeup like that? Like I never look like that even with makeup on. So it's kind of funny. So you guys go over, check out Shannon Procise, Procise, Procise.
Yes, it's okay. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay. All right. So go over and check that out. And, even if you don't want to buy a ticket to Media Magic, at least check out the event over the free event, and you'll get a lot of valuable information. I'm excited. I think I've given away all my free tickets, haven't I?
You did.
So no free tickets for me. Sorry. Maybe we can direct you to someone else to get free tickets.
Alexa still has a couple, so that may be another one. But Juliet, I'm sorry, I just have to mention your magazine. You have this incredible magazine, breakthroughauthormagazine.com. I am just thrilled to be a regular contributor in there, and the content and the information that you give is priceless. Whether you're thinking about writing something, you're currently writing something, or even if you're sitting on a book and you want to revamp and what is the term? You taught me a term if you're kind of relaunching the book or getting it out into the world.
Relaunching the book.
Relaunch. Okay. I've learned so much. Every time the magazine comes out, I am just thinking, what a gift to the world with people with a message. So sorry, Juliet, I have to say, go to breakthroughmagazine.com and subscribe. I
approve of this message. I'll be like a political consultant. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because May's issue, we've actually expanded our contributorship, and we've added Sarah Burke, who's a content expert, as well as the ladies from Media Casters, which they're the intersection of media and speaking and all of that. And Julie and Corrine, and I don't know why their last names just flew right out of my head, but we're growing and the magazine's getting a little bit bigger every month, and the subscription's free. So go over. Shannon, thank you so much. I can't believe we did like an hour and a half of trying to get through the tech for a mere 20 minutes of talk. I feel like we should go on for hours after what we went through this morning. And Paul at Restream, he hates us. Thank you guys. And thank you, Shannon.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you for all you do. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. ShannonProcise.com/events.